Here now we'll try to determine the values of different limits, different points, as the graph approaches that point or crosses that point. Okay, so now the first thing to note is that usually when a graph jumps, okay, we can say that the limit does not exist in a way. Okay, and when you have a hole like that, remember when we did our geometry, we were saying that the hole means that that value is not included. Okay, when it's not included, still a limit for that point can still exist. Okay, so something to note before we go far. And so now, how do we determine these limits? We'll do one by one, and then we'll learn that way. Calculus mostly is learned through examples. And that's why we say that all the theory that you need, all the terminologies, all the techniques that you need, normally you learn them through pre-calculus, because calculus is normally just you being able to see these examples, you being able to apply this concept and all that. All right, so now let's go to the first example. The first example says find the limit, okay, of fx as x approaches 0. So the best is, you're coming from the negative side, and this is the whole function. So you start from this side and approach the first portion of the graph that you meet. You check if the x value is within that. If not, you go to the next. So I'll check here. They're saying as x approaches 0. So I'll meet this function first, and then I'll go like that. So I know that 0, I'm meeting it here before I start the other function, or as I start the other function. So I know that the value will be here, not there, because this is the first value I made. So I can say that the limit from the left side or the negative side, because we have a negative there, is going to be 0. Okay. Then I go on and check. Here they're saying that approach the same one, but from the right side, from the positive side. So I start from here. Okay, I start from here. Doesn't take a lot of effort. I start from here. So I start with this function coming down like that. Have I made 0, x0? Not yet. So it's not on this function. So I continue, start with the next. Then I go till I made the value of x here. Now, the value of x will be here, meaning that the value of x is here, which is 0, and then the value of y is 2. So the function here will be 2. So I'll say this is 2. Now, you'll remember that we said that in order that the limit can exist, we need that these approach each other. Now you see that this is 2, this is 0. So at 0, the limit doesn't exist here. So we can say does not exist, because these values from the left is different from the left will be different from the right. So left is different from the right. So we can say that the limit doesn't exist. Okay. Choose a different color here. Right. So you can see that these don't exist. This one doesn't exist. All right. So let's go to 2. So we know 2 is there. We're going to approach it from the negative side. So I'll start. I find that negative 2 is not part of this. Then I start from here again, looking for the value of x. I can see that 2, I've not made it yet. I continue, I meet it here. So I meet it first here, coming from the left, before I meet it there. So as I'm going along the function, okay, so I've got 2 here, right? So approaching from the left, then I'll get a value of negative 2. That's the value of the function. We're looking for the value of the function as we are walking through the x values, right? So here, let's check from the positive side. I'll start from here, come down, I'll meet it here. Now, what's the value of y here? The value of y will be 0. So what will be the value of the limit as I approach this 2 here? Again, these values are different. So I'll have does not exist, because we have one-sided limits here. Now, we are going to check these ones also. Okay, we're going to check these ones, yes. All right. So here, we should have a point here. Okay, should have a point there. In fact, let me make it a hole. Like that. Right. So now, let's say we're approaching here we're saying that we're approaching 4 from the negative side. So we know that 4 is going to be here. All right. So if I extrapolated that, so we know that this is the point. Now we're approaching it from the left side, which is the negative side, because there's a minus here. What would be the value here of y? So we see that is as we're approaching here, okay, as we're approaching from this side, like that, we find that we are going to meet the value of 4. So we can say it's 4. Let's try from the positive side. We're coming down from there. We'll meet this value here. So we'll say that it's 4. These two are the same. So we can say the limit as we approach 4 is going to be 4. Okay. So generally, this is how you get the limits. I don't think that we need to do 100 examples. This is all inclusive. I wish you all the best as you learn this. Next, we'll look at the limits using algebra and all. All the best.